So Hunter Biden, he's back in the news. That's right. Everybody's favorite Biden, Hunter Biden, is front and center because, oh my goodness, Hunter Biden had a little bit of some trouble. You know, he's not the only one dealing with some legal issues. So let's go ahead and pull up this video here. Or not, before we pull this video up, let's go ahead and actually time travel for one moment in time. Remember when the Hunter Biden laptop story was deemed fake news? Remember when it was deemed as something that was a classic Russian propagandist tactic? Remember when they said that it's nothing to worry about? Remember that when you tried to share that story on Twitter or Facebook, you couldn't because it broke their guidelines? Remember how many of you got censored and suppressed on that platforms or on those platforms? Yeah, you couldn't talk about the Hunter Biden laptop. You couldn't do it. But hang on, I want to pull up this tweet right here. The FBI just admitted in court that Hunter Biden laptop is real. It is. Here are 20 minutes of Joe Biden, U.S. intelligence officials, and the American media claiming that Hunter Biden's laptop was classic, Coca-Cola, classic Russian disinformation. The FBI has had possession of Hunter's laptop since December of 2019. Leading up to the 2020 election, Twitter and Facebook censored the Biden laptop story because the FBI warned them of potential hack and leak operation targeting Hunter Biden. The FBI knew that Hunter's laptop was real the entire time. In October of 2022, again, shout out this one, Marco Polo, published a 640-page report on the Biden laptop that meticulously documented 459 crimes. 459 crimes, Hunter say it ain't so, involving the Biden family and their associates. The report provides evidence of foreign agents, Registration Act violations, money laundering, and tax fraud found on Hunter's laptop. It also exposes how federal law enforcement agencies influenced by politics protect the Biden family from prosecution while targeting President Biden's primary election opponent, Donald Trump. Shame on all these people for lying to the American people, rigging our elections, and destroying integrity of our nation. Here, folks, we're just going to play just a few short minutes of this Coca-Cola classic when all of the media was saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story was fake news.
And tonight, the Trump campaign is accusing Twitter and Facebook of censorship after the social media companies blocked the spread of an unverified story about former Vice President Joe Biden's son and a laptop allegedly full of his old emails. It's a story raising concerns about whether it's real or just designed to sow confusion in the final weeks of the election.
Experts say it has all the hallmarks of information laundering.
This looks like your classic disinformation campaign.
Eric O'Neill is a former FBI operative.
Steal the information with a cyber attack, get the emails from Hunter Biden's account, and then put them on these laptops that are left at a repair store. And that's how the information is now laundered into the public.
Who do you think is behind this?
Well, the Russians would be my number one guess.
So it's Putin. Putin's behind everything. Putin's the reason why everything's going wrong. The reason why you got a flat tire, Putin. The reason why you stubbed your toe, Putin. The reason why you spilled your coffee, Putin. The reason why you got fired, Putin. The reason why you got a leaky roof, Putin. The reason why everything's going bad around the world, it's Putin. Putin's around the corner. He's in your closet. He's under your bed. Quickly, get out of the house. The phone call came inside the house, and it was Putin calling you.
Social media outlets were quick to limit the spread of the story. Twitter briefly suspending the accounts of the Trump campaign and White House press secretary after they tried to share it.
Twitter and Facebook have limited the distribution of that Hunter Biden story. And last night, Twitter appeared to suspend the Twitter account of White House press secretary Kayleigh McEnany when she tried to share that story.
Damn. You know a story is shady when Facebook is saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe people shouldn't see this.
For a long time, Giuliani has been openly working to dig up dirt and promote disinformation on the Bidens. And now the Washington Post is also reporting that the intelligence community was so concerned that the Russians were using Giuliani to feed Russian disinformation to the president that they warned the White House about it last year. We're being told by two people who have been briefed on what the FBI is doing is that they're looking into whether these unverified emails about Hunter Biden published by the New York Post about foreign business dealings are part of the bigger Russian disinformation effort, which is well underway in these final days of the 2020 race. The intelligence community has said for months that Russia is very actively engaged in a disinformation campaign in the 2020 election, in particular against Joe Biden, to denigrate his campaign in favor of President Trump.
I think there are a lot of issues related to this New York Post story that reportedly referenced Hunter Biden emails. And as I and several of my former colleagues have pointed out publicly, that it does bear the hallmarks of Russian disinformation.
Intel Committee Chair Adam Schiff, who said this discussion over Hunter Biden and the story that came out in the New York Post that is highly questionable and dubiously sourced is part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Well, what I can tell you for sure is that Rudy Giuliani was the source of this hard drive and this information for the New York Post story. Also, the intelligence community has been saying repeatedly that Rudy Giuliani is the vehicle for Russian disinformation right now about Hunter Biden and the Bidens. To say that there's no evidence that somehow these emails and text messages or this hard drive is part of a potentially a Russian disinformation campaign doesn't make any sense to me, Hallie.
Oh my goodness, it's all crazy. Everything is about Russia and Putin and how it's a Coca-Cola classic. Oh my goodness, it is a Coca-Cola classic. Say it again one more time. It is a Coca-Cola classic disinformation tactic by Russia and Putin that the Hunter Biden laptop story is fake news. Now, here's the thing. Corporate media, big tech, let's talk here. Let's talk face to face here for a second. Let's talk here. Okay. First of all, number one, you didn't help your case when the news of this story broke that it got censored. You didn't help your case when the fact that people who were trying to share this story were immediately suppressed. You didn't help your case when the fact that so many people were being shadow banned and censored. Of course, people were going to keep on asking questions because, surprise, surprise, miracle of miracles. Look at this. Hang on, let's check this out. Look at this right here. Hunter Biden trial highlights. FBI agent testifies about Hunter Biden's drug use and large cash withdrawals. Look at that. What to know about Hunter Biden's criminal trial so far? Hunter Biden's criminal trial continued today with opening statements and the first witness's testimony. The president's only surviving son faces 3 charges tied to the possession of a gun. Sorry about that. While using narcotics, and has pleaded not guilty. U.S. District Judge Marilyn Norkia is overseeing the proceedings. The witness, FBI agent Erica Jensen, testified about the authenticity of Hunter Biden's laptop, which has been the subject of rumors and speculation online for years. Jensen said the laptop, what? The laptop, say it again, the laptop contained evidence of Hunter Biden's drug and gun purchase. You know what that means? Direct eye contact. The story was real the whole time. The laptop was real. So that means everybody, whether they be someone of high influence or just an average person, anyone that shared that story on social media way back in the innocent year of 2020, anybody that got censored has every right to give a middle finger to those who want to silence and suppress free speech. Anybody that was censored has every right to scream from the rooftop that they were in the right, not in the wrong, that they committed no crime, that they broke no guidelines. The story was real. And you know what that should also tell you? Any legitimacy that corporate media has should evaporate. The establishment did everything they could to make sure that that story was suppressed. It was a real news story. But because it was Donald Trump, but because his campaign was running on it or saying that this was real, It was dismissed. None of those quote-unquote journalists did their job. Hey, wait, you don't have to believe me. Let's watch this video again one more time, just a few more minutes of it, just so all of you can remember what they were saying in 2020. This is why we need independent media. This is why we need to break away the monopolies of corporate media, because they're forming a shield wall to protect these neoliberal jagoff politicians and their families. And they did everything they out Joe Biden because everybody wanted to get rid of Trump because everybody's suffering from Trump derangement syndrome.
Biden story, which we haven't covered as much for journalistic reasons because of the lack of verification. We don't put unverified disinformation on.
It's not every day where you see a headline like former New York City mayor, president's personal lawyer, and longtime friend, White House was warned that Rudy was the target of Russian intelligence operation to feed misinformation to Trump.
My colleagues at the Post reported tonight a pretty explosive story, which is that U.S. intelligence agencies believed that Rudy Giuliani was being worked over by Russian intelligence assets as a conduit to feed misinformation to the president of the United States. Apparently, according to U.S. intelligence, the Russians were onto him and were using Giuliani's interest in Ukraine to feed him misinformation to get to the president and to try to influence the American political process. And that's a big deal.
Serious questions tonight about whether the Russians are using Rudy Giuliani to interfere in the U.S. presidential election.
Now let's pause right here. Pause. I want to pull up this article here from USA Today. Trump right about Hunter's laptop from hell, though Biden claimed Russian disinformation. So let's go ahead and let's just check out a little bit of this article. Let me take you back nearly 4 years to late October 2020. What an innocent year. There was nothing bad going on in 2020. Then President Donald Trump and candidate Joe Biden duked it out in their second and final presidential debate before the election. Trump made references to the recently published New York Post story about Hunter Biden's now infamous laptop. They're calling it the laptop from hell, Trump said. How right he was. The laptop just made an official appearance in federal court this week. More on that shortly. During the 2020 debate, Biden angrily defended his son and himself, conveniently reciting a letter by so-called former intelligence officials penned just days before the debate. We do not know if the emails provided to the New York Post by President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, are genuine or not, because it's a Coca-Cola classic of Russian disinformation. There are 50 former big brain, super smart intelligence folk who said that he is accusing me of is a Russian plant, Biden said. They said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA. Both parties say that this, what he's saying, is a bunch of garbage. CNN's response, it fact-checked whether Trump spread Russian disinformation during the debate. It turns out the ones who were spreading garbage were Biden and these disinformation experts, who, along with a complicit mainstream news media, quashed and discounted an important story just weeks before the presidential election. Hunter Biden's laptop comes back to haunt him. Why am I bringing this up now? Because the laptop showed up again this week in a federal court in Wilmington, Delaware, where Hunter Biden is being tried on 3 felony gun charges. It turns out that the laptop that was once widely denounced is now being used as evidence by federal prosecutors to prove the president's son lied about his drug use on a gun form. It's very real. It's completely real. So all those intelligence experts, all those big brain individuals, all those people that said that they knew better, all of those experts on CNN and BSDNC, everybody there lied to the American people and knew so. They knew what they were doing. Here, just a few more snippets from this video. This is, again, all these videos take place in 2020.
Alex, there are fears that what Giuliani is now pushing here in the United States could actually be part of Russia's latest and very massive disinformation campaign in the U.S. presidential election.
Massive indeed, Wolf. We do know that it's a very active Russian campaign. That's according to the U.S. intelligence community, and that Rudy Giuliani already had open contact with a person that the U.S. has called an agent for the Kremlin. Now, we are being told by two people who've been briefed on what the FBI is doing, that they're looking into whether these unverified emails about Hunter Biden that were published earlier this week by the New York Post about his business dealings in Ukraine and China are part of this bigger Russian disinformation effort in the 2020 election. Now, those efforts, according to the intelligence community, are to denigrate the Biden campaign and the former vice president in favor of President Trump.
Over the past few days,
So there you go. There you go. There's all of corporate media lying to you, the American people. See, corporate media expects all of us to silently shake our heads, nod in agreement, and say, okay, we got to trust the experts. No. See, the media is designed to keep you informed about some events, but not empower you, not to make you question power or authority. Corporate media is designed to make you accept authority. Corporate media is designed for you not to question the policies and laws that are being passed in Washington, D.C. They're just going to tell you what's up and not go any deeper than that. And of course, our political ruling class rules for them, not for us. You know, they get to have all the power. These politicians get to make the rules up as they go along. See, now, if any of us were to do something, anything closer to the nature that these scumbag politicians do, we're never going to see the light of day. But the laptop story was real, is real. It was just confirmed. So that means all that time in 2020, the American press willingly covered up a story. The American press willingly helped out the Biden-Harris administration. The American press purposely failed in its job because they were suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. You would think they'd wisen up because, let's face it, the only reason why corporate media became relevant, especially in 2016 through 2020, the only reason why they got a huge boost of views, because all what they could do, all what they could talk about was Trump. He was their golden goose. I'm willing to bet 10 out of 10 that a lot of these people in corporate media are secretly hoping that Trump wins again, because man, oh man, did he bring in the views for them. But never trust corporate media. We have to watch the news in order to sift through the lies. And that's a sad state of affairs for media in America.